Today we are going to learn about verbs that use être in the passé composé. We have learned that the French past tense, passé composé, is a compound tense, meaning it has more than one part. It has one part at the beginning, the helping verb, which is conjugated, and the second part is the past participle. Most verbs take avoir for their helping verb. So, j'ai mangé, tu as dansé, ils ont chanté. Most verbs use avoir. There are going to be a few exceptions that use être, and that's what we're going to learn about today. To conjugate être, you go je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. Je suis, tu es, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. To form past participles with être, you'll use the same rules as before. So an ER verb like passé becomes E with an accent aigu, passé. An IR verb like sortir ends with an I, sorti. And an RE verb like descendre becomes descendu with a U on the end. Je suis passé par la banque. Tu es sorti avec elle. Il est descendu. We can form these easily by using être, the past participle. However, the question is, which verbs do this? Which verbs use être in the passé composé? The answer is that there are 17 semi-random verbs that use être in the passé composé. A lot of these you probably recognize. Some might be new. A lot of these verbs have to do with movement. For example, aller, to go, sortir, to go out, retourner, to return. However, not all verbs that have to do with movement use être in the passé composé, and not all être verbs have to do with much movement. For example, mourir, to die, might not have a lot of movement involved. There are several ways to learn this list. First of all, let's go through the verbs that use être in the passé composé. Devenir, to become, past participle devenu. Rentrer, to go home, rentrer. Monter, to go up, monter. Rester, to stay, rester. Sortir, to go out, sorti. Venir, to come here, venu. Notice that we are going to have some irregular past participles. For example, venir, which looks like an IR verb, ends in a U for the past participle. That applies to venu, revenu, and devenu as well. Two other irregular past participles are né and mort. We'll come back to those. Aller, to go, aller. Naître, to be born, né. Descendre, to go down, descendu. Entrer, to enter, entrer. Retourner, to return, retourner. Tomber, to fall, tomber. Revenir, to come back, revenu. Arriver, to arrive, arriver. Mourir, to die, mort. Partir, to leave, parti. Passer, par. Passer is usually followed by the word par. It means to pass by, passer. We will talk later about these extra E's and S's on the ends of these past participles. Être verbs are special because when you conjugate an être verb in the passé composé, you have to make the ending agree in number and gender with the person it is describing. But we'll hold off on that for now. I do recommend, if you would like to practice and memorize these words, I recommend making flashcards with the definition on one side, the infinitive, and the past participle on the other. Aller, to go. Arriver, to arrive. Entrer, to enter. Rentrer, to go home. Rester, to stay. Retourner, to return. Monter, to go up. Tomber, to fall down. Passer, to pass by. The verbs in black are ones that look pretty obvious to me. Passer to pass, retourner to return. The red ones you might have to work a little harder to remember. Aller to go, rentrer to go home, rester to stay, monter to go up, tomber to fall down. And here are the past participles. Aller, arriver, entrer, rentrer, rester, retourner, monter, tomber, passer. Sortir, to go out. Oh, sortir can mean to go out, like to exit somewhere, like to get out of a car, to leave a building. But sortir can also mean to go out in a romantic way. Je suis sortie avec lui. I went out with him, for example. Partir, to leave. Descendre, to go down. Venir, to come here. Devenir, so we have venir, to come, with de in front, which means from. So you are coming from something to another. You are becoming. La chenille est devenue un papillon. The caterpillar became a butterfly. Revenir, we have the verb venir, to come, with re on the front. That means you do it again, aka to come back. Naître rhymes with être if you have trouble pronouncing it. Naître, just like être. Naître means to be born, and mourir means to die. Here are the past participles. IR verbs sortir and partir become sorti and parti. RE verb descendre has a U on the end, descendu. And then, as I mentioned before, venir, devenir, revenir all end in U's. They are irregular. Venu, devenu, revenu. Naître is also irregular. The past participle is né. And mourir is irregular. The past participle is mort. Sorti, parti, descendu, venu, devenu, revenu, né, mort. There are multiple ways to try to learn these 17 random verbs. When I was in high school, we learned about a lovely couple named Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp. And Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp should cover all of these words. There are some problems with memorizing Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp. It can help you. This acronym can help you remember them all. There are some flaws, though. For example, there are 4 R's in Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp, so it might be hard to remember which one is which. There are also 2-letter D's. There's 2 A's. I've also seen sometimes people make mistakes and think that a verb belongs in Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp, and it doesn't. For example, people often forget about venir, and instead they think something like voir or vouloir is involved. So Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp I would use as a backup strategy to try to remember if I have all 17 letters, D-R-M-R-S-V-A-N, D-E-R-T-R-A-M, and a double P. That could be a helpful backup option for you. My preferred option is to take all of these past participles, aller, arriver, entrer, rentrer, etc., and put them in a song. So I will sing this song for you, and I hope that it is something that would help you remember. It goes. Aller, arriver, entrer, rentrer, rester, retourner, monter, tomber, venu, revenu, devenu, descendu, sorti, parti, passé, né, et mort. I'm not a good singer, so bear with me. I'll sing it one more time. Aller, arriver, entrer, rentrer, rester, retourner, monter, tomber, venu, revenu, devenu, descendu, sorti, parti, passé, né, et mort. I will make another video with just the song for you to reference later, since this is a long video. If you remember it in the form of the song, it's easy to get all of the past participles. You will also need to know the infinitives and what they mean in English. We will have a quiz later that looks exactly like this, where you will need to fill out the chart in order with the infinitives and past participles, and it will go in the order of the song. I will send you a Google Doc where you can practice typing in the missing forms. A good strategy would be to try to write the table out as many times as you can with something missing so that you can try and fill in the words that you don't know. So by the end of this week, I hope that you'll be able to fill out an entire table with the infinitive, the past participle, and the English definition of all of the verbs that use être in the passé composé. Later this week, we will also learn about la maison d'être. Some people prefer to visualize all of these verbs in one house. I will stop here for now, and we will practice with le passé composé and the verb être.